Welcome to the Windy City Rundown.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another great episode of the Windy City Rundown. I am Solo Dolo for the time being. I am Eric Avila. Jose Contreras should be showing up any second now. But whatever the case may be, the show must go on. I do welcome everybody to the show. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, or X, on TikTok, Instagram, all the good social media networks. So, guys, make sure you guys hit the bell to get notified when our shows are live on Facebook and also on YouTube. And always share, like, and follow our content. Excuse me. We got a lot to talk about today. We had a very heated debate in our text chain between John, myself, and Jose last week about a certain Bulls player. We'll get into that. The Bears looks like they are moving to Arlington Heights very, very, very soon. Dabble into a little bit of wrestling at the end of the show tonight, as WrestleMania is right around the corner, 3 weeks away to be exact. And also our Windy 5. Yes, our top 5 football stadiums. We're gonna give you guys our best top 5 football stadiums out there. So, guys, if you want to chime in on that one too as well, you guys are more than welcome to join on or hop on, should I say. But the link is in the comment section if you guys want to join the show today. Always follow us. Always get into it. Always join our conversations. But yeah, the link is in the comment section. So if you guys want to join us, you guys are more than welcome to hop along and give us your content or your thoughts about whatever you guys want to talk about. So let's get right into it. So yeah, last week, Jose, John, and I, and that's the link right there if you guys want to hop on and join us. So last week in our text and our group chat between Jose, myself, and John, we got into a little bit of a disagreement, right? Like every sports conversation, right? We got into a little disagreement about a certain trade about the Chicago Bulls and getting Alex Caruso. Now, look, last week we dived in a little bit about the Bulls. I mean, it is what it is. They're going to be in the playing game, whether if they're the number 8, number 9, number 7, whatever the numbers are. The Bulls are going to be in the playing game, whether you like it or not. I personally don't. You already know my gripe with the Chicago Bulls. They should have been tanking the whole entire time, but you got to give credit where credit is due for the Chicago Bulls. And their fight, their will, their passion of playing. Last night they got their ass whooped by a better team. As you can tell, there's a big of a difference between the two teams that played yesterday and the OKC Thunder and also the Chicago Bulls. But nonetheless, that wasn't the conversation. I think the conversation came off of what I believe is recency bias about Josh Giddey hitting a half-court shot to win the game against the Los Angeles Lakers last Thursday night. And talk about how Alex Caruso Josh Giddey and the Chicago Bulls fleeced the Oklahoma City Thunder in their trade for Alex Caruso and Josh Giddey. And to be quite honest with you guys, in my personal opinion, as we bring in Jose Contreras here, I honestly don't think it's a fleece. They want to use the word impactful, thinking that, Alex Caruso doesn't bring anything to the table down in Oklahoma City Thunder. But for that point, there is Jose Contreras, and he was one of the reasons why, or he's one of the guys I say that Alex Caruso is less impactful than Josh Giddey. Jose.
In this season, you hear me? Are we good?
Hi, okay.
All right, perfect. Okay, Eric. Yes. I feel like what Josh Giddey has done with the Bulls on the court, remember I said on the court, has been more impactful than Alex Caruso. I understand Alex Caruso is a veteran. I understand his leadership to a young team who has championship aspirations is vital. It's crucial for the Oklahoma City Thunder. But looking at that trade, I am 100% in tune, in agreement, whatever you want to say, with the Bulls winning that trade for the simple fact that Josh Giddey has been impactful on the court, has been playing well. I'm pretty sure if the Oklahoma City Thunder seen this side of Giddey before they traded him, they would have never traded him. They would have kept him. He only would have been a piece, a cog, a nice one in that already young championship aspirating team. So the Bulls won that trade between Giddey and Caruso. Again, that's not saying Caruso isn't doing his thing in Oklahoma. That's not saying he isn't making an impact. I'm just saying between the two, it's good to look. It's nice to look at the Oklahoma City Thunder and see all their success and be like, oh, of course Caruso's impact, blah 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 blah. We don't know because we can't see where if he is making an impact, it's behind closed doors in the locker room. But we don't know that. We don't know that. What we do know is Josh Giddey's been balling for the Chicago Bulls. Yes, it's been as of late, but since February, he's been killing it. 100% crushing
it. Be mindful that it's two different players, right? And I think that you guys don't understand that aspect, that it's two different styles of players, two different type of players playing on the court, right? And the way how they play. We've never seen Alex Caruso go off or have these type of games consistently, even when he was with Los Angeles. His impact or his reason or his style of play is impactful. That's not even shown in the box score.
Right, but we know that. That's why the Bulls traded him away.
And so that's where, to me, I think you guys lose the concept of it. Like, I feel like you guys are showing what you guys are reading, because that's all we're going to be able to do with the Chicago Bulls, because we can't watch them play first and foremost, right? Unless we listen to the radio station.
But let's be real, Eric. Like the whole argument we had over the phone, and what I feel like is why you're bringing it up today is we're talking about who won the trade.
Nobody won.
You can't sit here and say Oklahoma City won the trade just because they're in first place. They're not in first place because of Alex Caruso. The Bulls, though, you can say that they're if they're not out of the plans, they're nearing to be out of the plans because of Josh Giddey, because of what he's been able to do on the court. Yes, you also factor in Kobe White and everybody else, but Josh Giddey has been leading the charge. You can't say the same thing for Caruso in Oklahoma.
Yeah, but he also gives that veteran presence of how to get there, what to do, so on and so forth. Again, like, you know what Alex Caruso is. We've seen him here for 3 years, 4 years, however long he was here for the Chicago Bulls, and how, I guess you can say, how intact he was or how he got the players together. I mean, the perfect example was the gentleman sweep the last time the Chicago Bulls made the playoffs, his first year here. How he took upon that leadership role, or, hey, guys, this is the next step. This is what we got to do, so on and so forth, yada, yada, yada.
On the court. That wasn't behind the scenes. That was on the court.
You're not going to see that in OKC right now. We're definitely not going to see that because everything's always behind closed doors.
But that's what we're saying. So how can you definitively say the Oklahoma City won that trade if you don't even know if that's what's really going behind closed doors? Maybe he didn't have to add. Obviously, he's adding value. Let's be honest. There's going to be value. There's going to be value added. But that doesn't mean if he wasn't on his team that the Oklahoma City Thunder wouldn't be in first place right now. I think with the talent that they have on the court, they still be a top 3 seed in the West. Without Alex Caruso, the Oklahoma City Thunder are still the Oklahoma City Thunder. You take Giddey off this Bulls team, they are 100% a lottery team. They only get worse. That's why I say the Bulls won this trade. Because if you take Caruso off the Thunder, it won't impact them as much as you take Giddey off the Bulls.
Oh, I don't know about that.
100%.
I don't know Eric, about all that. No. I definitely don't see that. I mean, look, whatever. Yes, there's still going to be a top team out in the West, right? But you're not getting that championship pedigree that you're going to get from somebody else in that team that he's providing right now to the OKC Thunder. Like, he's not going to get that. Alex Caruso can help you in other shape, ways, and forms instead of scoring 15, 20, 25 points a game that that Giddey's probably doing right now and has been doing for the last month and a half. But besides the fact that the Bulls fleeced OKC, they didn't fleece them. It was literally simply 1-for-1 trade to the point where we might not even have Josh Giddey at the end of the year because of his contract, because he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. So the only way this works, or quote unquote fleece works, if somehow someone you sign if the Bulls sign Josh Giddey to a deal.
John,
if you're for a one-on-one player for a 1 year expiring contract, and Alex Caruso on top of that, once you got traded, got paid in OKC, like, how is that being called fleece? Not even that. You didn't even protect yourself, or the Bulls didn't even protect themselves in getting a draft pick from OKC out of the millions that they have.
On both of us in the podcast,
they got fleeced.
Who said they got fleeced, Eric? Because it wasn't me. That you're talking about John. John always says anybody got fleeced in the trade, but he did. The Bulls didn't get fleeced. The Thunder didn't get fleeced. It was a 1-for-1. It was a 1-for-1. Giddey, Caruso. The Bulls won that trade because of, again, as I mentioned, you take Giddey off the team, it hurts the Bulls way more than as if you take off Caruso off the Thunder. The Thunder are still top 2, top 3 in the West, and that's basically it. And the Bulls aren't. The Bulls are where they are because of Giddey. Obviously, you factor in Kobe White and everybody else, but if you take Giddey off the Bulls, they are a lottery team at best.
And that's what they were supposed to be, even with Giddey.
Right.
Don't be wrong. Again, look.
No argument there, buddy. We both want to be a lottery team.
We're right there. Right.
As fun as they are watching, we don't want them to win.
I don't know about watching. I have not watched a single second. I think you and I have watched the same amount of time of Bulls basketball.
I haven't either. But those highlights are fun to watch. The highlights on Instagram, they're fun to watch. But
highlights are always fun to watch.
Well, yeah. But I'm talking about when you're down and you take less than a minute to come back and win the game off a half court. I mean, that's fun to watch. Let's be honest. Even
it was cool to see. I'm not taking that away.
Right, it's fun to watch. Cool to see. Fun to watch. It's still fun hearing the broadcast. It's still fun to watch. Now, I'm not saying that Bulls basketball overall is fun to watch. I'm just saying they've been playing well enough to where it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I just it's above annoying, or it's annoying to me. The fact that, I mean, great. I'm not going to be the Debbie Downer, right? I'm here being completely 100% honest that the Chicago Bulls, it's good to see these type of players getting their time to shine with the organization and the time of the Chicago Bulls right now at the moment, right? It's just simply the wrong time to do so. But me personally, I still don't believe that the Chicago Bulls still ended up winning this game, or ended up winning this trade just yet. I think there's still a lot to consider. And the fact that he could walk out at the end of the season, to me, that's not a sign of winning the trade. Winning the trade, if they got a draft pick to protect themselves, then okay, I'm like, okay, Josh Giddey is playing well. He's getting his time. He's getting his shine. He's getting his moment. And on top of that, the Bulls got a draft pick to protect themselves just in case if he doesn't sign. Then okay, cool. Still, at the end of the day, you're giving up a veteran leadership in Alex Caruso to what you say already championship sort of ready team in OKC, providing that veteran value to a young team that doesn't even know what the hell they're doing or route they're going. I don't see how that team wins a trade compared to the other one. That's all I'm saying.
The Bulls won a trade, and
I don't think so.
Again, it's your bias, your hate, your whatever, and I get it. I'm with you. I don't like this organization. I don't like this owner. Just like I don't like him at all. I'm with you. At the same time, you call a spade a spade. The Bulls won the trade because of the impact the impact Giddey has been for the Bulls, as opposed to what Caruso has been. Again, I'm not knocking it. I'm just telling you, if you take one out the team, it's going to impact the Bulls way more than it will impact the Thunder, which is why I feel like the Bulls won the trade, because again, it benefits them more having him than the Thunder have Caruso.
How should I say this? How should I put this nicely? I don't think there's anything nice to say. And I get what you're coming from. I mean, I hear your conversation. I hear your debate. I hear your point, Jose, should I say. But it's hard to see it, is all I'm trying to say. And the point of the fact is that the Chicago Bulls, I feel like they can't get out of their own. What's the word I'm trying to look at? Like, they can't get out of their own ass, my guy. And I'm happy for the guy. I'm happy for Josh Giddey. And the real question, and the next question for you should be, Jose, is like, how much money are you willing to give up, or how much money are you willing to give Josh Giddey? Because he's not going to come cheap, especially if he's
No.
going to be performing the way he's going to be
I'm not
performing.
giving him anything. Look, I'm not sitting here saying that the Bulls need to keep him now. I'm not saying any of that. I'm not saying I think there's nobody on this team that is untouchable. Everybody got to go. The only reason that what makes me happy about the Bulls right now is that stock is high on a lot of these players because of how they've been playing. Now this organization needs to use this and use it what I feel like should be trade value. You got to trade him. You got to trade Giddey because his stock is higher than it's ever been. You got to trade Kobe White because his stock is higher than it's ever been. I'd rather this team blow up. I'd rather this team start over, start from the ground, see what you can do. But if I'm being completely honest, I don't trust the front office just as much as I don't trust the owner. I don't. I feel like the owner already sets them back by $1 million. And the front office isn't doing themselves any favors by consistently getting these draft picks wrong. Now, Mata looks pretty good. We'll see. We'll see what he can be. But when you have draft picks like Patrick Williams, Dalen Terry, what have they been able to do for you? How have they been
Hit a clutch three to make this game between two?
Right. But other than that, like what has Dalen Terry ever been? That's my thing. The one thing we were so excited for when it came to Karnisovas and Eversley is that what Karnisovas was able to do in Denver, drafting that on top of the offseason he had on before that when they got not offseason because they traded for Vucevic, but when they got Lonzo and they got DeRozan, like that year looked pretty good. But since then it's been absolutely nothing. Trash. It's frustrating. I don't want them to re-sign Giddey. I don't think he deserves any type of money as well as he's been playing. They need to trade him. His value's high. Trade him. Start over. Because you're not winning a championship with Giddey. You're not winning a championship with Kobe White, with Vucevic, with Lonzo Ball. Now, I'm not saying they can't be role players, but you don't have a superstar to build around. That's what you need. In order to sign anybody else, you need a legitimate superstar to build around. And nowadays in this NBA, you need two. And one is not enough. But you at least get one for now. At least try to get one through the draft. You're not going to get it through free agency. Nobody's going to come here to Chicago. You have to draft one. You got to draft a superstar. Draft a superstar, and then let's talk about who we resign, who we keep. As of now, nah, bro. Nobody.
It's the crazy part about it. You're talking about trading Josh Giddey, knowing that he's a free agent at the end of the year. So, I mean, the trade but already set sail.
But even that's what I'm saying. Even that's what pisses me off about this front office is that they're so behind the bar. Even that, bro, it's like, come on. Like, his stock is as high as ever. He's going to get paid this offseason. Somebody's going to give him money. I hope it's not the Bulls because they can't. There's no luxury for that. If the Bulls re-sign Giddey and give him money, it's Reinsdorf wanting to do what he always does, is put out a mediocre fucking team so that way the people are brainwashed to go watch. It makes no sense. Do not re-sign Giddey. Do not throw him any type of money. Let him walk. Let him get paid somewhere else. The Bulls can't do that.
But yet the Bulls still won the trade, right? That's the crazy part, my guy.
Eric, that has nothing to do.
That has everything to do with it.
No, it does not. The trade itself. Let's separate the trade from what happens after. The trade itself is who wins based off the impact on the team. It's clearly been Giddey. Now, if the Bulls played their cards right, if the Bulls did what they needed to do, the front office, I mean, in trading Giddey when it was time to trade him before the trade deadline, then there you go. Or if they would have done their job before this season, retooling or trading Levine last year or DeRozan, whatever, if they would have done something, then it's like, okay, you re-signed Giddey if you bring in a superstar, but they can't do anything. But the trade itself, the Bulls won. It's just they took one step forward and made a million steps back. That's on them. They still won the trade, but their stupidity, their idiocy is what killed them at the end.
Windy City Rundown here on Facebook and on YouTube, guys. Make sure you guys follow us on all their social media platforms, and make sure you guys leave a comment right here on the section 2 as well. Let us know what you guys think about the Bulls, the trade of Josh Giddey. Like, who literally won the trade between them and the OKC Thunder? I say the Thunder did, simply because of what Alex Caruso brings into the team, the leadership, and the championship pedigree that he has. And Josh Giddey just traded for the Chicago Bulls and had his opportunity to shine, and is shining very well with the Chicago Bulls, keeping them and putting them in the play-in game with the potential of making the playoffs with 10 more games to go. Jose, we both said that we don't like this team, or we don't like the ownership of this team anyways, but it is going to happen. The Chicago Bulls are going to have the opportunity to play in the play-in game in the next couple weeks, man. Something that we don't want, something that we didn't need. They couldn't find a way to tank very well. And we're just all catering into what, like I said, Jerry Reinsdorf kind of wants. Half-ass season, make the play-ins game. If you have that half-ass season and make it the playoffs, then guess what? You got guaranteed 2 more extra games, my guy. So
it's considered mediocrity. It's mediocrity 100% over and over and over. There's no different from this Bulls than it was from the year prior when they made the play-in game to 2 years. It's nothing different from the Bulls who made the play-in game when we had a much better team. It's the same BS. The play-in game is just a wild card for the playoffs. You're still not winning shit. It makes no difference. It's annoying.
You're gonna get swept by one of the 2 teams, the top 2 teams in the East.
The last time the Bulls were legitimate contenders were in the Derrick Rose era, and you may say they never won a championship. That's fine, but they were at least the number 1 seed going in, already sweeping the favorites 3 or 4-0 in the regular season. Those were the last legitimate where you could try to believe that we have something on the court that may win a championship. We haven't had that since, and I don't. And there's nothing on this team that tells you it's going to happen again. There's not even the damn front office. There's no hope, Eric.
No,
there's no hope.
Not even for me.
At least White Sox fans are hoping that Jerry sells the team and sends them to fucking Tennessee, so that way they have an excuse not to root for them anymore. The Bulls, there's no hope at all. Jerry's never selling this team. The Reinsdorfs are never selling this team. We're literally stuck here in basketball hell. Literally. There's nothing going on. There's no future. You were better off giving away your fandom because nothing changed. Nothing changed. And I would not blame you one bit if you I might be, you know what? I might be there with you.
I ain't gonna lie though, if you know how crazy it's what I find funny is it's a good thing I did it, because I would have been even more pissed, because I would have chose the Mavericks in the way how they chose.
You would have been a jinx. I would have called you the biggest jinx
in the world. Dude, you ain't lying. I would have been pissed. I was like, man, I just used my sports mulligan for no fucking reason, bro. I would have been pissed as hell.
That would have been hilarious.
That would have been hilarious. That would have been a podcast. That would have been a great show.
It would have been fucked up. I would have felt bad for you, but
shit, for real, right? I can't win. I can't win in basketball. I cannot win in basketball.
At that point, just give up the NBA fandom.
Yeah, right. Shit. I mean, look, man. We've been having the same conversation for the Chicago for the Chicago Bulls for the last, I don't know, bro. Even before we even started podcasting ourselves, the same conversation we've been having over and over and over and over again about the Chicago Bulls. You're absolutely right. The crazy part about the Derrick Rose era is that it's been 15 years ago that the Bulls were actually legitimate contenders. If you kind of think about it and put it in that perspective, it's been that long since the Bulls were actually that good. And the fact of the matter is that because I know most of you guys do, but you guys put that team so much high on a pedestal, and rightfully so, and I can see why. And I want to be there with you guys, right? Because think about it. That was the last time that we actually saw great Bulls basketball. That was the last time we actually saw a good Bulls team participating and making it into the playoffs.
That was the last time we had a legitimate superstar.
A legit superstar. And so, it's mind-boggling that 15 years later, almost damn near a decade, damn near 2 decades, a decade and a half, where they just fucking sank the ship. They sank the ship, the Chicago Bulls ship. Bad. Like it's worse than what the Titanic hit, bro. Whatever hit the Titanic, whatever the Bulls hit, bro, that's even worse than that. Because they've been put in a position where they can't dig themselves out anymore. Anywhere, no matter what they do. And even if they do something right, Jose, it still feels like it's wrong because it's just the Chicago it's been the Chicago Bulls way for the last 10 years, give or take. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't even know what to think anymore. You know. But what if the Bulls do make the playoffs? And the question is, and then what? What else? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna bring this player? How are you gonna build this team? We have, like you said, we have no faith in the owner. We have no faith in the GM. We have no faith in this team. So it's like we're gonna have this same conversation, Jose, in about 12 months, 10 months, again, about the Chicago Bulls and the state of the Chicago Bulls and Bulls basketball. We're gonna repeat the same. It's the same shit, just a different toilet, my guy. You know, same book, just a different title, and it's annoying because how many times have we said that we want to talk good about our teams or we want to have shows about how great our teams are from the very beginning to the very end? Ever since we started doing this, Jose, we haven't had the opportunity to talk about that, about any of our teams.
I have such love for the Bulls during the Derrick Rose era. It's hard for me to fathom leaving the organization to be a fan of something else. I can't do that. I too much memories with the Bulls in the Derrick Rose era. Short-lived memories in the Bulls '90s. I mean, I am a '90s kid, right? So I do remember a lot of it. But I wasn't say I was a big enough fan to like really appreciate it as much as I wanted to.
Same.
But I appreciated the Derrick Rose. That's when I tell you, I watched every single game, every single season, all 82. Even Eric, when I knew the result, I would still go home and watch every single minute, every single play, because I wanted to see this team and the heartbreaks and the celebrations when they did win. It's something I would never forget, and that's what's stopping me from even thinking about switching teams.
Right.
At the same time, it's hard, man. Like I haven't watched basketball at all this season, dude. Other than what I see on social media, when we went to Beggars on Derrick Rose night, we were only interested in seeing it because it was the halftime of Derrick Rose.
And
Otherwise,
they even fucked that one up.
Bro, I haven't even watched a single game of basketball. They ruined basketball in general for me.
They did. They screwed basketball up.
I haven't watched any NBA game, let alone a Bulls game, because I'm just so disgusted with what the team has done. I'm dead ass. I'm so serious. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Caesar said, "Ya no lloren." I mean, it's tough, Caesar, man, because like the one thing that we always pride and say and we talk about is that Chicago is a big city. It's the number 3, number 4, number 2 biggest city, biggest market in the United States. Our teams act like they're Oklahoma or New Mexico. Like they have such a small mindset. They're in a big city with a small market city mindset, man. And that's what's pissing me off. And that's what's pissing everybody off, dude, to be honest with you. Never and it's hard for me to say that because like I have so much love for these teams. I mean, hell, my first official like Chicago championship was the 2016 Cubs. That was like my first official like team that I actually rooted for that actually won a championship. So like in all my years of growing up, I've never seen a team that I rooted for in Chicago win up until 16 Cubs. So like that to me, that says a lot, and that's a lot of pain and a lot of suffering, and I seen a Bears Super Bowl in between that time, and I bandwagon the Blackhawks in their 3 and 6 years, you know what I mean? And it's just the Chicago Sky winning. In my lifetime, Jose, in my pure lifetime of being born in '91 up until today, Chicago teams professionally have won 13 titles.
It's crazy.
Take that what you want to take it with, bro. 13 titles, and I only witnessed 5, 6. I witnessed half of it, but I was only interested in one, and that's crazy to say. And it shouldn't even be like that. Caesar said, I started watching basketball this season and never cared before. But you're right. We have the most loyal fan base, but none of our teams are worthy. 100%, Caesar. 100%. 110%, my guy.
And that owner, that same owner who's the owner of the White Sox, they take advantage of it. They do. They
100%.
really don't care. They take advantage of it. They know those seats are going to be filled. And of course, it's fun. It's a fun environment to be in. The Bulls, that's the one thing they know how to do. But you credit their event planner, you credit their producers, you credit every single person in that building that makes that happen. To the DJ, to the people who are cleaning up the floors, putting the court together, everything. Those people deserve the credit. Those people deserve the credit. 100%. Because they make it a fun environment for people to want to go. And yes, support them. Because without us going to those games, they don't get paid. They don't have a job. So I'm 100% okay with that. But it does piss me off. I don't watch it. I will go to a Bulls game for that reason, Eric. Because I know it's a fun environment. I know it's at least supporting those people who work their ass off, getting that, and planning that event day in and day out. That I would do it for that alone. But I'm not paying $20 to watch this bullshit ass team. That doesn't do nothing for me. I'm not going to be happy just because they won the trade with getting Cruz. That doesn't make me happy. It doesn't. Right. It doesn't make me happy. I want them to win the offseason. I want them to win the draft. I want them to win, a trade that makes this team better. Like, give me something to root for. Like, it's frustrating.
Yeah, bro. You're not lying. You're not lying because I'm right with you, and it's frustrating. That's why. Excuse me. You're a better man than me because I could care less about the people that work there. I can care less about the people that. Yeah, I can care less about
everybody needs to work, bro.
I get that everybody needs to work, my guy, and I hear you 100%. But it's the United Center, my guy. They have events 365 days out of 365 days out of the year, my guy.
Yeah,
like it's always packed, whether the Bulls are there or not. There's always something going on in the United Center.
I hear you, but they do a good job. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yay! Where's the applause button here? I need the applause. Yeah. But I don't care. I'm sorry. I do not care. Like, never in my life have I ever had owners literally suck out the fun for upcoming sports season.
Like, part of me, we haven't had that here in Chicago, at least not in a very long time, not in our lifetime, where a team just ups and leaves. I always told myself, if the team leaves me, I'm not chasing it. If any of the Chicago teams I root for up and leave and go to California or fucking whatever, I'm not chasing it. No, I'll root for someone else. You know what I mean?
That's gonna be tough because the only teams look, you guys know me from the jump. I always talk shit about the White Sox no matter what, whatever opportunity I can. You know that, right?
Right.
But if there is a Chicago team that would leave here, it's the White Sox.
Right. What I'm saying the ones we root for. Let's say, for example, if the Bulls up and left, right? If Brian Sir takes the Bulls and the White Sox and takes them to Tennessee or what? Just example, right?
Example.
I'm not chasing the Bulls.
Okay, see, here I come.
I live in Indiana. I've been living in Indiana since I was 8th grade, boy. I consider myself a Hoosier at heart.
Okay.
I'm just adopting where I live. I adopted Indiana as my home, and I'm adopting that. If the Bears up and leave, as much as that would kill me, like I would cry.
That'll never happen.
I'll be a Colts fan because I live in Indiana. If the Bulls left, I'm a Pacers fan because I live in Indiana. Now, if the Cubs are probably the only team I would chase because there's no Indiana team in baseball. There's no Indiana. So the Cubs probably by default I'll have to,
Nah, I wouldn't. I think I'll just convert and probably find some more international soccer teams to root for and watch throughout that time period, my guy, because I really don't care. There's a lot of soccer 24/7 everywhere. So, I mean, it really don't matter. If a Chicago team up and leaves, bro, fuck it, deuces. I'm not going to care. You guys never cared about me in the first place.
Right. Well,
You
I
know?
mean, it's true.
It was
You
like, why,
listen.
you know?
You look. The Bears are the only case you can make. Okay, you're starting to care, right? But it took how long? It took how many people to bring? And I get it. As long as you get it right, I don't care. But the
Right.
Bulls,
Right.
you could 100% say that the Reinsdorf family doesn't give a shit about us.
Two shits.
The Ricketts, it seems
Fuck
like
'em.
they don't give a shit about us because they're not putting a product on the field. They just want revenue. They just want money. They want to save money. And
Save money.
the
Nah,
Blackhawks are hit and miss. I just think when it comes to the Blackhawks, I think they're trying. I think they're genuinely trying, but they need to recognize, and they made some changes already in the offseason. But I feel like there has to be some progress there because it's getting to the point where they're, okay, we need to see progress. It's still a very young team, very early. I 100% get it, but there has to be steps forward, and I'm not seeing that right away. So the Blackhawks are still hit and miss, but all these other teams, man, they like it's crazy to think you would rather be an OKC fan in a small market than a Chicago fan because like they at least do it right over there.
they at least know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah,
You know,
it's crazy.
So it's crazy. Windy City. Oh, Windy City.
Yeah, Windy City
Yeah,
Rundown.
Windy City Rundown. I was about to say Windy City
Right?
Underground. That's what I was about to say. Windy City Rundown here on Facebook and YouTube, guys. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms. Follow us on all our social medias: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or X, whatever, Instagram, TikTok too as well. Hit the little bell to get notified when our shows are live and when we're going to be on live. Jose, today, just kind of wrap up the show a little bit. Today, the Chicago Bears, the president Kevin Warren, came out and talked about that Arlington Heights is set to be the home of the Chicago Bears for the foreseeable future. They had their league meeting. The excitement of, I think he goes by the numbers. Let me break it down for you. He said that the Bears have 326 acres purchased in Arlington Heights for development of a new stadium. It was always going to be Arlington Heights or downtown Chicago. There was a late play for the hospital that's right there by the South Loop by McCormick Place. That's big enough, not 326 acres, but big enough to create a stadium and what they want to do around there. But today in his press conference, it just sounded like Arlington Heights is going to be the home of the Chicago Bears for the foreseeable future. And looks like in the next 3 to 4 years, the Chicago Bears will move to Arlington Heights. Is it something that you knew was going to happen all along, or did you still have your hopes high for downtown Chicago like some other people?
Nah, bro. I was one of the few who wanted them to be in Arlington the entire time. I think when you have free range of whatever the fuck you want to do, it's going to be better than when there's some type of resistance or some type of what's the word I'm looking for? Just it's better to have no cap on anything. I don't know what words to, I don't know what an exact word to use, but
I know what you're talking about.
when you have free range on whatever the hell you want to do, that's beautiful. You go for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you can't do everything that you want on the lakefront. You can't because you got to deal with the park district and there's not that much space. And what are you going to do with parking? Blah, blah, blah. You could at least in Arlington Heights create a big ass, beautiful, brand new state of the art stadium. The parking lot situation can be way better. You could have a surviving town or area like Wrigley. Like you could do so much with the area that you purchased in Arlington Heights. And again, my biggest thing, I've always said it, it's not just for the Bears. Like you could use that for high profile events. You know what I mean? Whatever the case is, and that's only going to bring more revenue to the city. That's only going to be fun for us, the fans.
Well, more revenue for the Bears. I think that's the most key important part.
Well, the surrounding city, because again, let's say they bring in, you and I are both wrestling fans. If they bring in WrestleMania, people are going to come from all over. They bring in a Final Four. People are going to come from all over. Soccer, World Cup. If Chicago has the stadium to do it, but think about it, Eric. If Chicago has a brand new state of the art stadium to do it, why not? Why not bid that? Why not put that for bid? Whatever the case is, you have so much. I mean, college playoff football. They could play a game there. With whatever team. All I'm saying is you that's going to bring revenue to the surrounding cities because people are going to want to go. Even people who don't necessarily want to see the Bears, they want to go see the stadium. It's a
Facts.
brand new stadium. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
State
So
of the art.
that's going to help that city. It's going to help the Bears tremendously. And like I said, it for us for us Chicagoans, whoever you want to call us, Midwestern, whatever. For us, it's only gonna benefit us because we get to see multiple events in the beautiful stadium. And when we go and when we want to go to the Bears game in December, we're not having to deal with the cold, with the rain, like that right there is probably the best part.
That's the plus right there.
Yeah,
I mean, we're still going to be tailgating no matter what, right? I think that's
100%.
always going to be a tradition no matter what for the Chicago Bears and out there. But you're absolutely right. And I think me and you, I think we're both in sync with this about the Chicago Bears going to Arlington Heights because of what you just said, right? Because of the amount of events that you can have, from concerts to WrestleMania, wrestling events to basketball, other basketball events too as well. Football, obviously soccer will always be there no matter what. So yeah, you're absolutely right. And the ones that benefit the most are the Chicago Bears. They don't have to share the revenue with the friends of the park.
The
They don't
partnership.
have to share their revenue a lot with the city of Chicago. That's already two people that you have to pay. And instead of getting, 70 some odd percent, low 70% of your revenue sharing that you get for the Chicago Bears, you're getting 90 some odd percent. That's 20% difference. Why didn't I think about this business wise years ago? I don't know. But well, actually, I do know because of the contract that they have for the lease for the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field. That's obviously point number one and probably the only reason why. But even then, so like, how come they didn't do a better job when they first built it, or how come they didn't think about when they were building it back in 2001? Why weren't they thinking about this in the first place? You know what I mean? So you're absolutely right. The opportunity of having multiple events and keeping the revenue for you and probably spending that a little bit more on your team. That's great, and it's good for the Chicago Bears, and it only gets good for the Chicago Bears from here on out. So yeah, I'm excited that the Bears are finally moving to Arlington Heights because you get to build paradise, how a lot of people like to call it nowadays. So, why not? We should all be excited. Yes, we're gonna miss the aesthetic of having downtown Chicago in the background. Yes, the night sky of downtown Chicago with the lakefront right next to you. Yes, everything seems so nice and beautiful in downtown Chicago. But let's be completely honest. I've been there multiple times to watch, soccer matches in Soldier Field, driving in public transportation. And my first and only Bears game that I went to 3 years ago, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare to get out of there.
Oh
It's
yeah,
hell to get out of there.
100%.
Even with concerts at Soldier Field, it's still pretty bad.
It's bad. Yeah, concerts, soccer games. There's a lot. I've seen a lot in Soldier Field. It's all bad.
Yeah, dude. So it's like you have the expressway right there, multiple lanes and different types of exits you could go around. It's going to be nice to see, and plus, I think you mentioned it, a dome. We get to have a dome, whether it can have a retractable roof or not. We have a dome. We're gonna have a controlled environment. That's fine. I'm
Yep.
okay with it. That's cool with me. And I think this is a big W for the Chicago Bears, adding to their big W that they had for the offseason with the signings that they had. Coming out with this, I think it's a big W for the Chicago Bears. It's a huge W for the Chicago Bears. And it's
100%.
about, and it took 2 years too long, but guess what? At least they're getting started with it. So, I'm excited. I'm happy. It's about damn time. The Bears are looking like a very serious franchise right now and doing everything and making the right moves. So far, they haven't gotten not one thing wrong so far this offseason. And it's just weird, but great to see that our franchise is finally growing into the 21st century and into a modern NFL football team on paper. Let's wait the results when the Blades start playing. But right now, the Bears look like a serious NFL team that's being ran in the 21st century.
Bulls take notes.
This is the Windy City Rundown here on the, Facebook and YouTube, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Unfortunately, guys, this is going to be our last episode of the Windy City Rundown. We hate to break this news to you guys. Nah, I'm just kidding. April Fools. I'm just fucking with y'all. Don't even worry about it. We're not going anywhere. We'll be here better next time next week. Um, so talk about whatever pops up in our head. We'll do our Windy 5 next week. We'll do our top 5 stadiums or next week. See what we're coming about. Thank you for guys. Oh, before I forget, Cena, Cody, fucking fire.
Oh, amazing. Okay, 2 questions wrestling before we step. Who won that promo battle between Cena and Cody? The first question, or was it a draw?
Can I give it a slight edge to Cena?
You can, and that's fair. Yeah,
slight edge. I think the only reason why I'll give it to Cena, right? This is just me personally on a personal like the way how he said it, right? I think that Cena knows how to do it from the top, and his mic skills. This what makes him like him and CM Punk to me are number 1 and number 2 on the mic.
100%, 100%.
And so the great thing about that though is like everything that he said was probably spot on if you're a Cody hater, and he went down even more. But Cody's rebuttal though was fucking perfect.
And that's the thing. Like people, a lot of knock on Cody is that he's rehearsed and Cena mentioned that, right? But the one thing I would say is his rebuttal wasn't, because it was dependent on what Cena said.
Exactly.
And he held his own.
He
held his own. I agree with you. You give the slight edge to Cena, but only because the fact that he's been gone for so long and still able to just come in and doesn't matter who it is. That's the champ. Cody's always been good on the mic.
Of course,
let's be honest. He's always been good on the mic. But what Cena's been able to do time in and time out is nothing but impressive. So I agree with you 100%. I think Cena gets a slight edge, but Cody was right there, man. It's a boxing term, you know what I mean? It's a 9-8, 9-8, 10-9. Like it's
10-9.
Yeah.
10-9. That's definitely that's definitely a 10-9, but like it's like a 10-9 if Cena landed 53% of his punches and Cody landed 51.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It was there. Yeah.
It was right there. And last week I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, you said that the WWE are protecting Cody Rhodes and with his promos and not having John Cena up there with him and having that spar face to face. Promo wise, mic wise, should I say? But kudos to the WWE, kudos to Triple H, man. He let him have it, and Cody, like you say, stand on his own and did a great job. I think what really helped Cody was the fact that he mentioned Vince in that aspect on why Vince just catapulted John Cena up to that level. Because if you really kind of think about it, I mean, they both kind of have a similar path to where he's kind of the chosen one by the guy that's running the WWE at the moment. That's Triple H's guy. John Cena was Vince's guy.
Right, but Cody he had a point. When they were supposed to go to Rock last year, it wasn't Triple H or anybody else that changed it up. It was the fans. The fans pressured WWE, and that's one thing Cena never got.
No, never got. He never got that, and then obviously the more dick in your mouth than in your jorts. I mean that too. Like you're letting Cody.
That was fire.
You're letting Cody be authentic and real. Helped him.
And yes, and that's the thing about Cody. He is that, like, I hear what Cena's talking about is that's not who you really are, because if you knew Cody for who he was before AEW, he was very like that, very sarcastic, very how can I say, he was very heelish. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he was just a dick. He was just an asshole. And he was goofy as fuck. And like now you see this very mature bravado like Cody, who's wearing suits and just like, he wants to be the guy, I understand it. I get it. I get why he's doing it. But Cena has a point. That's not who you were. That's not who you really are. Let's be honest. But at the same time, Cody could always go there. And you saw glimpses of it in that promo.
I think you've been seeing glimpses of it from last year. Given from what the Rock situation came in and took that away from him and how he came out and stuff like that. And then throughout that whole, and then from him winning it until now, like you've seen bits and pieces of him kind of being heelish. I mean, as recent outside of Monday night or yesterday, um, recently with Kevin Owens. You know what I mean? Like you saw glimpses of that too, of him being of heel Cody. So
And I'm always gonna love the fact when Cody does the subtle imagery or whatever of symbolism of his Bullet Club days of his cohort with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega when he goes the two for the Young Bucks for the
yeah,
twins and then the Kenny Omega bang.
uh-huh.
Beautiful. I love it every time when I see it. And yeah, man, it's for sure. You know, but that was one question. Second question is, do you agree with the main event night one? Are you agreeing that it's the triple threat and it's not? Let's just say I don't think Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair should be that
No.
that one doesn't. But the fact that none of the Royal Rumble winners are actually main event before when you win the Royal Rumble, it said you main event wrestling. You don't. None of these guys are doing it. Charlotte's not doing it. Jey Uso isn't doing it. At the very least, a triple threat with Bianca, Rhea, and Io should have main event. I don't know. I'm okay with it because I want CM Punk to have that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just surprised that they kind of like pushed the other ones aside.
I would say this. I was hoping that they would have waited to tell CM Punk he was going to main event when they're here in Chicago on Friday.
Honestly, bro, that would have been.
I think that's the one where they dropped the ball. I get it though; it's a great reaction. It's super great. I mean, and them being out in London, all right, cool. I kind of get it why they had to do it in London too, because if they do it this week, dude, we're like 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
3 weeks away. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, what are we gonna do? But to answer your question, to go back and answer your question, the only issue I have with is the women's one. And I think Triple H has been faltering a lot with the women's division in its entirety outside of just the two main event.
Yep.
Simply because either A, he doesn't have really main events or women in it. Like the three biggest ones are gonna fight each other.
Yeah, literally.
Right?
I agree.
The you know what is he doing with the mid card? Chelsea Green could hold her own for a very long time. Lyra Valkyria is only shown every so often, every blue moon.
I feel like they're forcing her on the fans, and nobody's gravitating towards.
Nobody's gravitating to that, right? Exactly. I felt like that title should have been to somebody that. I mean, that's another conversation for another day. But Lyra Valkyria wasn't the one, right? You give it to Bayley, okay, great. Bayley can actually do some work with the mid card people.
Yeah, exactly. She can make that title. It should have been to Bayley. I think she was.
It should have been to Bayley, but I understood why they gave it to Lyra because
they tried to build a star.
They're trying to build a star, and which is fine, right? But back to Tiffany and Charlotte, the same thing that we're saying about forcing Lyra Valkyria for us on the IC title is the same way how they're still forcing Charlotte Flair, even though she's been out for a year because of her ACL injury. It's the same exact thing. Is it a match that we all want to see? Yeah, present versus past. You know, the past versus the future. However you want it. You know, they both kind of similarly represent each other some way somehow, right?
I don't know. I think it's too soon for this feud.
Super soon, and I agree with you 110%.
This feud.
But I mean, if you kind of take a step back and really think about it, who would have been the right opponent for Tiffany Stratton?
Well, if I'm being 100% honest, I don't think it should have been Tiffany. I don't think Tiffany should even be the champion. I think it's too soon for her. I think it's almost. I'm not saying they're trying to force Tiffany. I think organically she got over with the crowd.
100%.
But you gotta be able to. I don't think they've been doing it right. Like the way she won it with the briefcase. Okay, cool. And then you're automatically throwing it to Charlotte. Like you haven't really done much with her. Like there's no like the public has no. They don't want to. Like they want to back Tiffany in this match, but Charlotte's been like she's been killing her.
Right.
On the promos.
Tiffany had a very decent promo last week. I think it was.
It was but it's still
it doesn't hit. But you're right.
That's why I say it's too soon because you're bringing back Charlotte, who and I feel like she needs to win. I feel like she needs to win this one because think about it like this way: Tiffany beats Charlotte, then what? Then what do you do with Tiffany? I feel like you have to have Tiffany in a Cody Rhodes situation where she loses to Charlotte, like Cody lost to Roman 2 years ago in WrestleMania, and then have her chase Charlotte like Cody chased the Roman for the second time, and that'll then put the crowd behind her. Like, damn, like kind of like how they're doing with Jey Uso. But the thing with Jey Uso, they did it too. I don't like the way they did it, because we're now seeing it for the third time. Like this is like the third time they're facing, and each time he lost. I get the story. It's like, hey, can he do what he couldn't, which is beat Gunther? You can do that with Tiffany, but prolong it. You know what I mean? Like have her chase, have her put her in. When Cody, I know I'm all over the place, but let me just make this. When Cody lost to Roman, right? What was immediately his feud after Brock Lesnar? Another, like, you know what I mean? And they had a feud there. Then after that, it was you get what I'm saying?
Right. I get what you're saying, but again, it goes back to what I said. Triple H not really doing well on the women's division. So let's say that does happen. The question still goes: what next for Tiffy? What next for Charlotte? And I get with Charlotte, you'll get a little bit more of like, well, here's Io, or here's Bianca, or here's
Jade. I mean, they teased,
Jade, and they
teased
teased it.
Yeah.
But you mean to tell me you're gonna throw us Charlotte versus Jade right away? After she still has her own little storyline with Bianca and what's her name? And Naomi?
Yeah, I think
It's the same question goes in circles.
I think this story with Bianca, Jade, and Naomi has to end with Bianca and Jade. So I agree with you there.
Yeah.
But because I'm with you as far as the women division isn't where it's supposed to be on the main roster. But if Tiffy were to beat Charlotte, right, then you have to go maybe to NXT and see who you can bring. Usually after WrestleMania, that's when they start bringing up stars from NXT, and you have a plethora of women in NXT.
Yeah, I think Roxanne Perez is going to be already up there.
And I was going to say, if Roxanne Perez comes up and her and Tiffany Stratton already had a good rivalry in NXT, if you bring that back, people are not going to root for Tiffany Stratton. They're not going to root for
Roxy.
They're going to root for Roxanne. So that's why it's like it's tough.
Right. I mean, and then who else are you going to bring from NXT? I mean, is NXT going to lose Jada Parker? Probably not. You know, but even then, so look, you bring up the Prodigy, right? And yes, they made her the longest reigning Royal Rumble winner or Royal Rumble participant this past year. She was in the Elimination Chamber the month afterwards, right? She held her own at the Elimination Chamber. Like if you bring her, if you bring her up and face her against Tiffy, I mean, again, you're absolutely right. But it at least gives you something to do with Tiffany Stratton if she does win right after WrestleMania.
And then a better heel.
Right. And then I agree. And then with Charlotte, like who you're gonna throw. And that's the dilemma right now in the women's division. Now, if somehow let's just hypothetically put this in the air somewhere that if Charlotte wins, are you gonna throw Alexa Bliss? Are you gonna if Becky Lynch is gonna come back? I mean, like I said, Io, Bailey, like you're gonna recycle some of these old stories, but at least Becky Lynch will be a little bit more intriguing because she's been out for a while. Alexa Bliss, she's gonna be a little bit intriguing because of the multiple stories that she's gonna have, and she's been out for a while. Well, so, like, at least it'll be something worthy of an opponent for Charlotte Flair. But I think you can also do that with Tiffany Stratton, but you give her a little side quest with Roxanne Perez to make her establish into this women's champion that she has right now.
Good point, because if you're gonna keep Tiffany Stratton, baby, if you're gonna keep her face, you need a good heel, and Roxanne's a good heel. Yeah. And I feel like the Alexa Bliss is a good plan, but you gotta take her off whatever this gimmick is of her being like this possessed person. Like bring her back as the Bliss she was of old. Right. She was a heel because she was a great heel. She was a great heel. So yeah, I agree. That'll help Tiffany Stratton for sure.
But I would tell you this though, Jose. I think you still give Alexa Bliss this little possessed persona that she plays right now at the moment. And you already know where I'm going to go with this for an obvious reason because of Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, but what have they been doing with the White Six? They have nothing.
I think you kind of you keep her away for as much as you can.
But you're not even featuring them. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like
that's what I'm saying. Like that's why you don't put her into it. Like you make Alexa Bliss do this for Bray Wyatt. Like you make her do that.
But she doesn't need to. My thing about that is you put her in the White Six, then all of a sudden her and Nikki Cross are now a tag team, and that's not doing her any favors. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you put her in a tag team, okay, they're gonna face Roxanne. I mean, not Roxanne, Liv and Raquel, and it's like, okay, cool. Then what? You know what I mean? Like, you're not even doing anything with the Wyatt Six. Like, it's look. I love Triple H. He's showing us he's good. He's a good booker. I just think there's a lot to be desired.
There should be. This is just me spitballing ideas. Hopefully, it sticks on the walls. But there should have been someone to re-see or revalue, like somebody next to him about the women's division. Yeah, and somebody like, hey, look, this is what I have planned, cooked up. Where can you fit this here, or where can you fit that there?
They
Because
might they might do that. I mean, we don't know what the inner workings. What I can say is like, and I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but real quick, AEW, and maybe this isn't a good,
probably
example,
not.
right?
But
But
go ahead.
for a while, we knew that the Young Bucks were in charge. They're not doing it anymore, but before the Young Bucks were in charge of the tag team division, and that's when I feel like that their tag team division was the strongest I've ever seen it. And then Kenny Omega was in charge of the women's division, and it was really good. And then obviously whoever was in charge of the men's, I feel like Triple H needs something like that, someone who is familiar with tag team wrestling to be in charge with the tag team divisions, their storyline. He could still be the head of creative, but just like you said, have someone there piggybacking. And same with the women, bring in Mickey James or whoever to kind of help you with the women's side. You know what I mean? But or talk to Shawn Michaels. He's doing a great job at NXT. I think all the stories you have, but that's because they're not afraid to push the envelope. You know what I mean?
No, I think NXT. I think Sean in NXT fits perfectly simply because he's giving that responsibility, but he has that free range to do what he can. Right.
Yeah.
The little that I watch, and this is just what I know. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more Shawn Michaels esque because of what Shawn Michaels was in WWE.
It's edgy and it's very millennial.
Edgy, that risque type of thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why he fits at NXT as what he's
Right.
doing right now. But you
Right,
bring him into the WWE like that, he loses that edge. You know, now he's Shawn Michaels DX, where he's still that guy, but not as flamboyant as he wants to be because he has a partner right next to him. So, but wrestling, WWE guys, look at that. We went over a little bit longer, but it's all good. We like to talk about sports and a little bit more after that too, as well, with wrestling too, as well. We will give you guys our prediction once the cards are out. We already have our matches, the triple threat. To answer your question, I don't mind Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins main eventing WrestleMania. By the way, I think that would match. We always said it from a long time that match didn't need a title. And it was proven itself that it doesn't need it because it's still going to main event WrestleMania and it's still going to be a big match anyways. It sucks that they have to overshine the women, but also at the same time, it's like you have your women alphas and you have your male alphas, and it's just kind of like none of them was going to be a wrong answer, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's just going to, it's like, but it feels like it's gonna do the women a disservice if like the guys have like an all-time triple threat match and then the women kind of bomb. Well, but it also can happen the same way too, where the women can have the badass matchup and then the men's ones kind of bomb. But you're a little bit more safer guaranteeing that the guys will carry that match and do a better job, or
I don't know. I think.
But the women should have main evented. At least the women's one should have been winning main event.
Last statement before we end it. I think, and quote me on this, all right? You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think the triple threat women's match is going to be way better than the triple threat men's match. I think they're going to outshine them.
I would say that the women's triple threat match will probably be the best match of the whole 2-night event.
You're not wrong.
It could possibly be.
You know what? I will agree with that.
The only thing that I am afraid of, if they do their shenanigans and Jade and fucking Naomi come in, which is my reasoning, where it might ruin it.
I mean, if you do it to protect Bianca, but I don't know. We'll see.
We will give our predictions when WrestleMania, the week of WrestleMania, we'll give our predictions on who's going to win their matches. Obviously, we have AJ and Logan, the triple threat for the men and women, and Rhea, Bianca, and Io. Roman, Seth, and CM Punk. Obviously, Cena and Cody, Jey Uso and Gunther. and there's still going to be many more matches to come. So we'll see what we got left. We got 3 weeks left before WrestleMania, and obviously our Chicago sports team are going to be up and around business as the draft is coming down soon. We'll see where the Bears are going to. We'll see what the Bears are going to draft in the upcoming draft next month. Is it next month or this month?
Man,
next month, right? It's this month, right?
It's usually right after the finals.
Yeah.
You talking about the NFL or the NBA?
NFL.
Yeah, you said NBA. My bad. NBA's after the finals around June, July. But no, the NBA, the NFL. I mean, should be in April, May.
The last of April, right?
Yeah,
I thought so. So we'll see. We'll see what we're gonna get. Where the Bears are gonna go with that one. And then next week we're gonna talk a little bit about baseball, where we see our baseball teams from the last 2 weeks, as they both had their home opener series upcoming this weekend, and everybody's already played. So we're gonna get into a little bit of that. A lot to talk about. Sports our sports teams are gonna be up there. My boys won today. Keep that title race hope alive, and then hopefully next week will be good for the Champions League. So give a little bit of that. Jose, any last words?
No, that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
All right, for Jose Contreras, I am Eric Avila. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you guys next week, 7 o'clock, 7:30. To be on the safe side, I think that's going to be our new time, 7:30 sharp. We'll be better next time on timing wise. Thank you guys for joining. Jose, do you got this or I got this? I think I got this, right? I got this. I'll do this. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate you guys so much. You have a good night. And as always, go Bears. Oh.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
He's running like he's got a lobster down his pants, showing that he is as slippery as a bar of soap.
Like poop through a diarrhea-infected goose.
Commented about it.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm not laughing about it. You think this is funny? I take this serious.
I'm not.
Real serious. I put my heart and soul into this every single week.
Are we done here?
It's about time.